Hello everyone, welcome back to the Sports Fall Podcast. Jersey Joe Archino back here, and I think when you look at the NFL, the divisional playoff matchups, the one everyone seemed to be decided on was Denver and Pittsburgh, but that turned out to be a battle through and through. Coming into this one, I mean, my goodness, how much uncertainty could the Pittsburgh Steelers have had? You have their top offensive player, Antonio Brown, out of this one. You had their main running game behind D'Angelo Williams. He's out of this game. And then obviously Ben Roethlisberger was coming into this one, and his status was quite uncertain, but he did look much healthier. He put a lot of more zip on that football than I thought that he would. But I think the big story coming out of this is the major limitations on offense for Denver. We've seen such a dramatic shift for this team. I mean, it seems like only a couple seasons ago where Peyton Manning is breaking all kinds of records, throwing 7 touchdowns a game like he did to open up the season, but it has changed dramatically for this team, and they've relied so heavily on the defensive side of the football. But I just think, man, the second that game ended, my first gut reaction was they're just not going to be able to beat New England by kicking field goals like they have gotten by in this game. I mean, they're very slow and methodical, and then they can get things going when they want to, but at the same time, they struggle dramatically with explosive plays. And as you get further and further to this, closer to the Super Bowl, that's how you win these games, is by explosive plays, and they just cannot get that going. They have great receivers, but I mean, you just look at Peyton, his receivers had a lot of drops in that game, but until they could really get the running game established and they had big runs here and there, this is a slow-moving offense. They don't get a lot of big plays, and I think that's what it takes to beat a team like New England, and it's been a problem for Denver all year. I mean, I think the first game of the season we kind of saw, and as Peyton kind of went further and further along until he got injured, that was kind of the MO for the Denver Broncos this season, was they're going to ride it out with their great defense. They have a great defensive backfield. They got a lot of pressure on teams up front. They were just going to run the ball and get the occasional big plays from their receivers. But I mean, something like that has eluded them for a while. I think it's huge, the fact that they got that bye to open up this playoff, because this is an offense that was exposed a little bit in that game. They got by. They made some plays at the end, but again, I don't think that's going to work out for them when they play a team like New England, and it makes you wonder a lot, because we had such a thriller earlier that day with the Seattle and the Carolina game, and that game was just back and forth. I mean, Carolina controlling that game in the first, and then Seattle really making them sweat in their boots a little bit in the second half of that football game. But this was just a kind of a painfully slow-moving football game here. Both offenses struggling to really gain any much of a foothold. And again, I mean, you have to always watch these games and be thinking about what's coming next. And obviously next, we all knew New England was what was waiting for them. And I thought, I mean, right away, Pittsburgh probably would have had a better time against New England, because I think offensively they're built better to attack that weak secondary of the Patriots. But the Patriots don't really have to worry about that with Denver. I mean, Denver has great skill position receivers, Emmanuel Sanders, Demaryius Thomas, but they're not going to have to worry about really covering that backfield, because we know Peyton Manning's really limited outside of the 10 to 20 yard line, and you saw it in that game. I mean, they're really trying to keep everything in front of Peyton, work the ball down the field slowly but surely, and it's exactly what the Kansas City Chiefs tried to do. Move the ball slowly but surely down the field, occasionally trying to hit the big plays, but I mean, Peyton is limited because of his injuries and his age and his status right now, and I just think that's not what he can do. I think that makes the job of the Patriots that much easier. And again, Denver's got a great defense, and that'll help them stay in this football game. But I mean, they're going to really, their drives are going to sputter out around before they can get in the end zone. I think they're going to have to settle for too many field goals. And I'm going to do more shows later in the week with the predictions and everything. But I mean, gut reaction right away, you have to go with New England. Just too limited offensively for the Denver Broncos. But that's just the biggest takeaway I had, and that's going to do it for this one. Jersey Joe Archino here. You can follow me on Twitter at Joe Archino, on Instagram Jersey_Joe_Archino, and we will be back next time.